Stan Lee proudly presents a comic book milestone, the fabulous 300th issue of The Amazing Spider-Man titled Venom! Her name is Mary Jane Watson Parker, but she doesn't know that. At this moment, she knows almost nothing, for her mind has been harshly numbed, all thought cruelly drowned in an onrushing tide of primal fear, an emotion that may never fully fade.
Don't come near me! Please! Just don't touch me!
Mary Jane, what's wrong?
Stay away, please! No more.
Hey hun, it's okay, it's me.
Me?
Peter.
Peter? Oh God, Peter. He was in the apartment, waiting for me. And he looked just like you.
Huh?
Like Spider-Man. He wore a costume, but he was big, bulky, like a weightlifter. He wanted to know where my boyfriend was. He didn't even know we were married.
Never mind that. Are you okay? Did he hurt you?
Not physically. He just made me feel so helpless. But what if he is looking for you? He grew a mouth, Peter, right on his mask. He grew it. He wasn't human.
Let's worry about that later. Right now, I'm getting you to a doctor and...
No, I mean, I'm okay. Really, it's just, I can't stay here tonight, Peter. Not after.
I understand. I'll throw some things in an overnight bag and we'll go to a hotel. You just take it easy. Mary Jane's one of the strongest women I know, but she's trembling like a little girl. What kind of monster could do that to her? Answer: the kind that currently crawls up the sheer wall of a South Bronx tenement, the kind that has just come home. Yeah, I know. The woman wasn't our target, but shaking her up could still work. I mean, if we don't find him, he might find us. Either way, it's just a matter of time. Guess I'll pump a little iron, pop a sweat. You may not get your power from muscle, buddy, but I sure do. And I want to make certain I'm in shape, you know. For the kill. Midnight, the Leiden House Hotel in mid-Manhattan. Can't sleep. Too tense. I think I know who that intruder could have been. Trouble is, that's impossible. Don't know who the man who broke in was, but from MJ's description, the inhuman thing she saw sounds an awful lot like my old costume. I first got my black and white suit on another planet during that Beyonder thing. I brought it to Earth because it was great having a costume that could mimic my civilian clothes and change from one to the other at a mental command. The problem started when Mr. Fantastic discovered what my costume really was: a living, thinking, symbiotic being. An alien who wanted me for its host, who even tried to bond itself to my body. It finally took Mr. Fantastic's sonic blaster to capture the creature, but it escaped. Determined to join with me permanently, I got desperate. So desperate that I lured it to a church tower and let the shattering clamor of the bells kill the monster before it could destroy me. But from what Mary Jane says, the reports of that death may have been somewhat premature. Nuts! I'm really strung tight. In the past, I'd loosen up with a little web swinging, maybe take some photos for the Daily Bugle. But I'm a married man now, and I have to stay with Mary Jane until...
Peter, come to bed.
I think I know who terrorized you, MJ, and why they're after Spider-Man. I hoped my having a secret identity would shield you, but...
Hush, Tiger. When I signed on for better or for worse, I meant it. Now let's get some sleep, okay?
Stubbornly, grudgingly, fitful sleep finally comes, and eventually, as the sun slips into its assigned position over Manhattan once more. Mary Jane?
Over here, Peter.
I hope you weren't calling room service. I already know what I want for breakfast.
Silly. I was calling a real estate agent I know. I've pulled in some markers, and we've been moved to the top of the waiting list for the Bedford Towers. If we want that condo, it's ours.
But it usually takes months to get a good place in Manhattan.
I guess we were just really lucky. I know this is sudden, Peter, but I just can't live in that apartment anymore. I'd scream in every little creak or rattle. You do understand, don't you?
Well, I guess.
I knew you would, Peter. Oh, I love you so much. They said we could look at the condo this afternoon, and I'd really like to get some pre-move pictures. You know, before and after.
Okay. I'll pick up my single lens reflex camera at the apartment after I shower.
Great. I'll see what I can do about reserving a van and recruiting some help.
Looks like this is working out. My trip to the apartment will make perfect cover for the other errand I have to run. Good old Chelsea Street. If I had a nickel for every time I dropped through the skylight, maybe I could afford to pay for my share of that condo. Speaking of which, I wonder if there will be a problem getting in and out as Spider-Man. Guess I'll swing across that bridge when I come to it. Now, I've got other things to worry about and to take precautions against. I borrowed the sonic blaster from the Fantastic Four on my way over. I just hope I don't have to use... Light blinking on Mary Jane's answering machine. Better see what it is.
Hi, kids. This is Aunt May. Just calling to remind you about dinner tonight. Chicken and dumplings at 7 p.m. sharp. Oh, phooey. I hate these contraptions.
Aunt May will get such a kick when she hears about the fancy West Side condo I'm moving into. Quite a step up from this place. Of course, when you come right down to it, I'm gonna miss living here. Sure, it's a dump, but for the last few years, it's been my dump. Oh well. Soon. Don't know how many pics MJ wants. I've got 36 exposures of 200DX in my camera. I hope that's... I couldn't be in any danger, or my spider sense would warn me. But somehow, I almost feel like I'm being followed. He's ducking into an alleyway. Must be a shortcut. Blast! No crowd to hide in? We'd better give him a few seconds to get ahead. Then... What? He's gone! Living in New York for so long may have made me paranoid, but I can't help believing that old saying, better safe than splattered. And thus, a short while later, at the exclusive Bedford Towers condominium residence. Wow, I don't believe I'm really going to live here. I mean, it was such a big deal when I got my own place. Now I feel like I'm getting my own palace.
Hey, Tiger, a top fashion model like yours truly has an image to maintain. Besides, with this kind of space, we'll almost have enough room for all of my clothes.
Yeah, I know. It's just going to take some getting used to, and I still wish, well, that I could help pay for it.
Peter's feeling really down about me making so much more money than he does, but maybe I can help. Listen, Peter, have you ever thought about fashion photography?
Come on, MJ. I don't have the right training for that.
Oh, pooh. You'll never know till you try. And with a subject like me, how could you go wrong? At least give it a shot. What have you got to lose?
Well, okay. Talk to the camera, baby. Yeah, that's it. That's hot. Now, make me want you. Get it on. All right. Think Cosmo. Think, shouldn't we have a wind machine or something? Ah, heck. I'm not cut out for this. I just feel silly. It's hopeless.
Uh-oh. Peter's getting even more depressed. Gotta do something to perk him up. In that case, man of mine, how about we take some snaps for our private collection?
Slowly, Peter's spirits begin to rise. And that evening, at the Queens County boarding house owned and run by May Parker.
Why, you youngsters certainly look healthy. Marriage must agree with you.
Apparently it does, May. That nephew of yours has been ignoring you even more than before he got hitched.
Now, you hush, Nathan Lubensky. The children have lives of their own to lead. I hope you'll forgive my little tirade. I better go put these dishes into soak.
I'll help.
Oh, no, dear. You stay with Peter where you belong.
Be back in a second, hon.
Yeah, that was the year Lucky Lindy himself came into my shop. I remember.
May, I've been meaning to ask you. This is the first time you've had us over since we got married, and you haven't visited us at all. It's almost like, well, you're distancing yourself from us.
Don't mean to do that, Mary Jane. I just want your marriage to work. And so many couples get split apart by nosy relatives who try to run their lives for them.
But you're not nosy, May. You just care about us. Why, Peter would be crushed if you ever dropped out of our lives. And May, so would I.
Oh, well, if I guess in that case, Peter, if I'm not the first guest you ask to your new home, I'll have the great panthers picket the place so fast it'll make your head spin.
Aunt May, I'll have the invitation engraved tomorrow. But today is a day away, while tonight at Our Lady of Saints Church in Lower Manhattan. It all began here. It's only fitting that it should end here. Don't you agree? Yes. I thought you would.
Freeze! Looks like putting extra foot patrol on the beat worked. The sergeant's gonna flip when I bring in the scum who's been pilfering poor boxes in the area.
Don't be a fool, boy. Petty cash is of no concern to me.
Yeah? That's not what the broken lock on the front door says. You'd better come with me, Buster.
It seems you leave us no choice. Though you probably won't believe that we find this particular choice rather repulsive. What?
Can't breathe.
Innocent death is always unpleasant, but nothing must stand in our way. Nothing must block our righteous revenge. And by all that's sacred, nothing will. A day passes. The young policeman's body is not found, and as evening settles once more over the imposing edifice of the Bedford Towers.
Sorry this move is so late, folks. On such short notice, I couldn't get a van any earlier.
No problem, MJ. Whoa! That red-headed guy's hairdo is radical. Darn, I'm missing the Nets game. That makes me mad. Who are these people?
I ran out of your friends, Peter, so I called in some of mine.
Do hurry with those boxes, Jeeves. Watching you carry them is positively exhausting.
Very good, sir. Wow, there's Pete's old neighbors, Candy, Randy, and Bambi. Man, if I had them living next door, I'd never move. Hey, watch it!
Easy, boys. Don't hurt yourselves.
And eventually, whew, that's the last one. Shoot, and I was just getting pumped up. Maybe they'll let you carry the van back to the rental agency, Flash.
Come and get it. Sandy and I will build some more sandwiches while you guys work on these. Sodas are in the fridge. Dig in.
Give any more thought to my suggestion, Pete, about getting out of news photography? You're the Bugle's editor-in-chief, Robbie. How could I not take you seriously? In fact, I've been thinking how science used to be my driving ambition. Maybe... Huh? Excuse me, Robbie. There's something I have to do. Need any help? No. I think I'd better handle this alone. 3 minutes later, over the South Bronx. That creep must have checked Chelsea Street and found I wasn't there anymore. Now he's looking for me, and I couldn't take a chance on him finding me with all my friends around. I just hope he hasn't gotten so far ahead that... Bingo! Crawling into that abandoned building. I'll just follow, scope out the situation, then take him by surprise. After all, my spider sense will warn me if there's any danger. Ah! Welcome to my neighborhood, Spider-Man. Would you be could you be my neighbor? This guy's nuts! But that costume, giving me the shivers. Gotta be the alien. Have to stall. Reach the blaster. Who are you? You may call me Venom, for that's what I'm paying to spew out these days. I'm your victim, Spider-Man. I'm the innocent you ruined. But I still don't know who. Perhaps this will help! Mask flowing from his face. Looks familiar. Like, Eddie Brock? Ah, you've seen my picture in the Daily Globe. Indeed, I used to be Eddie Brock before you stole my career, erased my future, obliterated everything I lived for. My column in the Daily Globe was read by millions. I was a solid reporter, a respected member of the Fourth Estate. At least I was when I began writing a series of articles on the Sin Eater murders a few months back. It was partially because of those articles that I was contacted by Mr. Emil Gregg, a man who confessed to being Sin Eater. Protecting Mr. Gregg's identity through my rights under the First Amendment, I told his story, incisively, compassionately. The Globe's circulation soared, but pressure also mounted. The police insisted that I reveal my source, so that they could stop the murder spree. Under advice of counsel, I finally wrote my masterpiece, announcing Gregg as the Sin Eater. It was a sensation. That's it. Keep talking. For about an hour and a half. That was how long it was before you revealed who the real Sin Eater was. Soon the whole city knew that the Sin Eater was actually policeman Stan Carter, and that my story was based on the lurid ramblings of a compulsive confessor. The globe was a laughingstock. I was fired. My peers questioned my ethics, shunned me. I was forced to write venomous celebrity exposés, and I was kidnapped by aliens, driven for scandal rags, just to eke out a living. If you hadn't butted in, no one would have known that Emil Gregg wasn't the Sin Eater. Perhaps Carter would have been smart and stopped his killings, knowing he could get off scot-free. Perhaps just a little more. My life wouldn't have been shattered. I might have made an error in judgment, but I was always a good journalist, and the garbage I was forced to write began to rot my soul. I relocated in the Bronx, spent part of my meager income on bodybuilding equipment. I heard that exercise could reduce stress. It didn't work. Whenever I lifted a barbell, it was your throat I was squeezing. Each time I punched the heavy bag, I was pulping your face. I taped headlines about you on my walls, feeding my hatred, knowing that I couldn't get a story even on the back page of any respectable paper. Until finally, the pain became unbearable. Almost there. And I decided to end it all. But I was raised Catholic, and suicide is a mortal sin. So I wandered from church to shadow church, praying for forgiveness. Then, at Our Lady of Saints, something odd happened. A shadow moved, caressed me. I was joined. But this was a shadow filled with light. It clarified my anguish, focused my purpose. Its hatred for you matched my own. It knew who you were, and it had power. Oh, such power. We found the woman first. Later we found your empty apartment. You were running from us, but the shadow knew you well, knew you'd have to learn who we were. So we went trolling, using ourselves as a lure, and apparently the bait now worked. Got it. Lunging for your weapon? Trying to fight me? Good. Whoa! Think I'm in trouble. Ugh. The alien wasn't really killed by those bells. Must have just dissipated out of pain or rejection. Probably sensed Brock's desire to kill me and thought that was a good idea since I had tried to kill it. Ah! Still don't know why Venom's not triggering my spider sense though, and I'm paying for that ignorance and pain. He's got all of my powers and more muscle. All I've got is experience. Have to use strategy, call on my cunning to get him over to the blaster. So much for finesse! Now, you son of a... I don't get it. When Mr. Fantastic used the blaster on me, the symbiote was driven away. But it's only pulling away from Brock. Why isn't it detaching? Unless it can't. It must have completely bonded with his body. That's why he isn't triggering my spider sense. The alien never tripped it, and now he's the alien. Which means that if I kill it, I'll kill Brock. Don't know if I could take a human life even to save my own. And after that beating I took, I don't have much fight left. I better regroup, think up a new plan. Leaving? Huh? Night. Welcome back to the land of the living, Spider-Man. What a pity your stay will be such a short one. What? Lord! A proposed sentiments considering the circumstances, just as my altered garb is appropriate. After all, we are in a manner of speaking about to exorcise a demon. You tried to kill my shadow with these bells, Spider-Man. It seems only fair that now they should kill you. The central bell is about to toll midnight, but you'll be gut jammed by the time it strikes 2. We must leave. When the clapper squishes through to bare metal, the noise could be painful to us, but I promise, we'll return to view the remains. Venom's webbing's as strong as mine. Must have used gallons of it to web me to this bell. Can hardly move. Have to figure some way to... In the distance, other bells starting to toll, but that means... Oh, jeez. Clapper's pulling back. No time to be fancy. Gotta use brute strength. Try to push one hand through, like trying to scratch through a cast iron glove. But it's the only chance I've... Phew. Stopped it once. But how many times can I pull that stunt before the bones in my hands are crushed to powder? Strange. We should have heard something by now. A crunch, a scream, something. Now or never. Won't be able to stop it again. Maybe I don't have the strength to pull myself from this webbing in time, but I'll bet my good right arm that the automated bell ringing machinery does. Retracting clapper yanked me free. Thank heaven. Arm feels like it's been the main event at a taffy pull, but at least I forgot about the tolling. That was foul, Spider-Man. Cheap and beggarly. You broke the rules. Now, you'll have to be punished. I could stay here, let the bells do the trick, but that could kill me too. Gotta get room to breathe, so I can keep on breathing. Thanks, Spidey. How can you fight this guy? He has the same powers as you, the same webbing, the same... Wait, he doesn't have the same webbing. When I wore the alien suit, I never needed webbing cartridges. Never even knew where the webbing came from. And I remember Puma saying the webbing was organic. That could mean it's made of the alien's own substance, that he regenerates it over time, and that could be my key to survival. If my theory is right, the alien makes webbing from itself, and since it used so much to web me to that bell, it's gotta be running low. No! If I keep forcing Venom to use that webbing to keep from falling, his reserves could get depleted. He'll be like a human being with a bad wound, losing lots of blood. He'll get weaker and weaker until finally, he runs out. Brock's alive, and so is the alien, though it hasn't regenerated enough of its mass to be a threat yet. I'll need to contain them both, but that'll have to wait. Now, if only I can remember Mary Jane's calling card number. Soon, Bedford Towers? This is Mr. Parker from 8C. We just moved in and don't have a phone yet. Could you possibly pass a message along to my wife?
Be my pleasure, sir. What's the glad word?
Just tell her I had to photograph a news story, that I'll be home soon, and most of all, tell her I'm okay. And so, sometime later at Four Freedoms Plaza, home of the legendary Fantastic Four, current team leader Benjamin Grimm completes improvised security arrangements.
I've been on the horn with Mr. Fantastic, and he says the sonics being piped into this cylinder should keep Venom nice and docile, leastways, till a special cell can be built for him at the vault, that government super prison out in the Rockies.
I really appreciate this, Ben.
Hey, no problem. Only next time try to bring your loonies a little earlier, will ya?
Spider-Man makes the trip to the Bedford Towers carefully, favoring his left arm. And once there, after his tale has been told, "What's wrong, MJ? You seem awfully distant." I said I was sorry. I did what I felt I had to do.
I understand, Peter. Really. And I'm glad you're okay.
Then why the icebox treatment? Is it because I have to go right back out again? Sweetheart, if I don't show up at the Bugle with photographs of something tomorrow, Robbie and the others will get suspicious about why I disappeared from the move party. I have to.
I know! I didn't mean to snap at you, Peter. But you're right. I am upset. Only it's not because of you. It's because of, well, that! After all we've been through, I don't think I'll ever be comfortable around that costume.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Wearing the same outfit as a homicidal maniac doesn't thrill me either. And since it's impossible to get Venom's suit away from him, I guess I'll have to do without mine. Of course, swinging around the city in my web shooters and Fruit of the Looms isn't going to do wonders for my image.
I have an idea about that, Peter. I know this isn't a real costume, just a commercial copy you got when you were in Germany. But right now, it just almost seems like an old friend. What do you think?
Mary Jane, I think you're the greatest. A lingering kiss, a quick change of clothes, and the legend begins anew.